Man podcast.
For the girls we were.
For the sisters we became. And the women we're becoming.
Hello, ladies.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, y'all. How's it been?
It's been great. It's been a hot, emphasis on the hot, girl summer.
Has it?
The temperature. I meant that as a pun.
Okay.
I meant the actual weather has been hot. And I'm a girl, so I'm hot. I am a girl that's hot in the summer.
Okay. In that case, it has been a hot girl summer. Yes. I just feel like in the actual connotation of what hot girl summering is, it has not been a hot girl summer.
Oh yeah, I've disappointed Meg in every way I can possibly do that. I am not driving the boat. I'm not out here finessing men. I'm not doing any of these things. So yes, if I was taking a test, I'd feel as a hot girl, but you know.
I mean, there has to be different levels of hot girls, right? Because like there can't just be one standard of a hot girl, right?
I mean, then you'll just be a lukewarm girl.
You know what? I stand my lukewarm girls. And
it's a lukewarm girl summer.
It is. That's what it feels like.
Room temperature, okay.
Well, room temperature. Come on now. We heated up a little bit. Come on.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I just don't.
Toaster oven hot.
Yes, toaster oven girl summer. I like this, okay? I like toaster oven girl summer.
I hear you.
Listen, all right? It's a whole different thing from a furnace, which is the hot girl summer, but
yes,
you know, it keeps you nice and spicy. It keeps you warm at night.
Yes.
But lonely. I'm kidding. No.
Are you lonely, Esther?
I'm actually not. I feel like my personality doesn't allow me to be lonely. I might actually need help. I might have multiple personalities. They keep me company at night. Yeah. I don't mind them at all.
Yeah, talk to somebody about that, because
maybe I might, maybe I'm not. I'm kidding, but like I don't know. I don't say I'll never feel alone.
Yeah. But loneliness and feeling alone sometimes aren't the same thing.
Elaborate.
So you can feel alone, like as in you don't feel like you have any resources, people to talk to. Lonely is like a feeling where you're like, it'd be nice to have a little boo to be laid up on.
Okay.
So you know what I mean? Like, you know you're not alone, but you might feel lonely, but you know, you're not alone.
Okay, so then you know what I'll say? I'll feel lonely sometimes, but I feel like I don't feel that way very often. I felt that way this morning.
It's not a bad thing, though.
No, I know, it's not a bad thing at all, but like, I felt that way this morning, and let me tell y'all why. Because Lola made me watch Persuasion, the new adaptation. Okay. I watched it this morning.
So she's a Jane Austen fan, like
fanatic.
What do they call you guys? They call you the Austenites or something like that.
I think so. I don't know. You know me in the pop culture.
You're not in the group?
I am. I'm a diehard Jane Austen fan.
Okay, whatever the name is, if someone could find it out, she is it. She loves Jane Austen. She has repeatedly watched Pride and Prejudice, the Keira Knightley version.
Yes, I also love the original Persuasion. I have a whole collection of her books, like the old ones, and I'm gonna put it in my library one day so that my children will read it.
Yeah.
I have a specific list of books that are going in my library for my children to read. But yes, I watched the movie this morning on Lola's behest.
Yes, I harassed her. It was funny because I watched it and then I watched some reviews. I didn't read the book, and everyone was like, "I've read the book. It's not the same." And I'm like, "Hey Esther, I know you love Jane Austen. I don't know if this is up your alley or not." And she's like, "Yes, it is. Yes, it is."
I was like, "A new movie, you say?" I was like, "For Jane?"
So did you like it?
No.
Oh.
Let me tell you why. Listen. Here's my thing. I'm a little bit of a literary snob.
She is.
My thing is Jane Austen because at the time she was writing very rebellious works for women. Like, she was encouraging women to do what they had never done before, which was really to take their livelihoods into their own hands. And they can only do that by marrying up and marrying men, but she was encouraging them instead to marry for love. Big scandal. Even today. I mean, let's talk about it. But I wasn't crazy about it because, well, first of all, okay, I'll list what I like about it. I like that it made it accessible for the girls who are not Jane Austen diehards.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. It's a Jane Austen-esque movie. Yeah.
Right. It wasn't for the Jane Austen fans. It was for like, hey, this is a really great love story. Let's give it to the girlies. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's for the girlies. It's not for the Jane Austen, fanatics, which is totally fine, right?
Yeah.
As a fanatic, I'm glad the story was told so that everyone else could enjoy it. But I was like, there was just so many, like, of the pieces that were missing, you know?
Yeah.
It reminds me of, like, y'all knew the Twilight era. Y'all knew the Twilight era. Y'all know the Harry Potter era. Like, you know when people just go to the movies and they haven't read the books and they're like, "Oh my God, these are amazing movies." And then you're like, "So you haven't read the books then?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Because they're terrible in comparison." I'm like, you can't even stomach it. You can't stomach it because once you've read it, you get why why they're meant to be, basically.
Gotcha.
Right?
I will say this: movies don't have what books have, which is an extended amount of pages and time for you to build this up. So like we watched Harry Potter as adults. We weren't like, so like, listen, my mom believes in Jesus Christ. She's from the blood of the Lamb.
That's right. Come on.
But
ain't no ghost up in here, but the Holy Ghost. Come on, talk about it.
But also, we were a part of like some, Pentecostal Christians. We're like, that's
me.
the devil. That's the devil's work. We don't read Harry Potter over here. Salte Satanás. So I didn't get to watch it as a kid.
Okay.
And so as an adult, I started watching it, and you and I agreed. We were like, how the fuck did Harry end up with Ginny? I was like, I was
it
like,
made no sense.
I was like,
it made no sense.
It gave me very much like she's a fangirl.
And she's got picked out of the
like the
probably
lineup.
Impregnated her accidentally.
I don't think Ginny did all that. But the point being, also, I didn't trust her after the second movie.
Yeah, when she was the bad guy, and I was like,
she wasn't the bad. So, as you guys know, Malfoy's dad snuck in the Notebook, and it was a whole thing. So
now here's my thing.
It wasn't her fault.
This is a four-colored girls moment. Now you walk out the store. You walk out the store
with a
book that you know ain't yours. Your mama ain't purchased it for you. Y'all know y'all a little bit broke. Now you open the book and talk about the Dark Prince or what have you. Now, for colored girls, what are you doing with that book?
First of all, I'm chucking that shit back.
Right. I'm like, well, this ain't. This ain't for me. I would have lit it ablaze. It would have. I would have been like, the dark. Ha! I rebuke you.
I said, open the chamber of secrets.
I'm like,
I am a child of God. I live in truth.
In the light.
Open the vault of the truth. That's what we're opening up.
Now.
But the point being is, like, as watchers of the movie, watching this,
we didn't get it. We didn't get the connection.
But Margaret's like, no, they were meant to be
There was
together.
no other person for him. And I was like, there were so many other young women. There was a woman at the coffee shop, for example, that he literally had a 30-second interaction with a colored girl.
A lot more charisma, a lot more
chemistry. Just the eyes. I said, oof. She had me. I said,
take me.
I said, here? Like,
my friend of all these people?
Come on. No, seriously. So I didn't get that, but again, I didn't read the book, so I wasn't a stand for that. And I feel
I could see the same with
like there are intimate moments I feel like the literature allows for where the books just can't capture that. And so I feel like the same thing with the Persuasion movie. There was a lot more to it than like what was actually shown, which didn't really allow for me, the characters to make sense together at the end.
And I will say this: I said this is some dry, stale love interest.
Right.
Especially because they had Henry Golding. He was playing a character. And I'm like...
Right. And I said, listen, baby.
You're picking this man over Henry? Lies.
Now, I said that's how y'all do it back in the day, but...
I'm like, I guess that's your choice. You should not be persuaded out of your choice once again. But I was like, But I definitely did see that. I felt like the ending of them getting together was just like, okay, I guess that's what's supposed to happen. But... Again, I understand Persuasion, the book, and this modernization of it, because there's a lot of like modern things in it that I was like, okay.
I'm going to take it a step further. Is it a modernization of it, or is it a bastardization of it?
It's a modern... I think it's both. It's a modern bastardization of the movie.
No, you know what? This is totally off key right now. I have a problem with the media industry right now. I have a really big problem with it. I do. Like, my gears are grinding. And let me tell you why. Because I feel like we're being sold love stories that make no sense. They're nonsensical. And it's because instead of taking literature at its finest and trying to bring that to life, they take these hot, juicy moments from these books and they put on the big screen and say, if you bump into a man and look at him for 30 seconds, you're going to be in the sack with him 10 minutes later. And now here we are in this era of casual dating, of casual sex, because we think that chemistry is based off of these small, minute interactions that are not really giving you return on investment of what should be emotions, what should be, relationship, you know what I'm saying? And it's killing me. And I think that it's being, my thing about art is art imitates life imitates art. It's a cycle, right? Since life has now bastardized art, now we're having a piece of life that is also becoming bastardized, influenced by this very cheap art form of romance, okay? That's where I think it is, and that's why I think that we're living in, a culture right now where it's, and it's not a bad thing, right? Where it's like everyone is out here getting booed up.
But they're not even booed up. I feel like
they're not. Y'all are shacked up. Y'all are situation-shipped up. And it's concerning.
A lot of people will describe any type of like any type of intimate relationship they're having with someone as a situationship. And I'm like, this is odd to me.
Right.
I love the fact that we've gotten to the point where women can own their sexuality and not fear like physical harm, because there are other parts of this country you can't, other parts of the world you can't even look a man in the eye because they're gonna stone you to death. But I also wish that we think about what this like so-called freedom means.
Right.
There was this post that I saw. It was this girl on TikTok like, oh, I used to have sex because I was lonely, and then I felt lonely after having sex. And I'm like, okay, so what are we actually trying to do? Are we trying to fill a void? And it's just like, listen, I'm gonna put my business out there.
Go ahead.
I haven't been around the block. I made it to the corner and back. You decipher what that means, okay? You take that. You figure it out. You decipher it.
Right.
My whole entire adult life, all I keep hearing is that men that are having sex with these women, A, are not pleasing these women. Women are not having orgasms. They're not doing any of these things. And I'm like, so they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
You're not enjoying it.
Right.
Why are we doing it?
And
for like literally, that's not what I'm like. You don't really like them. You really don't know them. They don't like you. They don't really know you like that. But you're not even getting yours. What nonsense?
What is the point?
Like literally, what is the point?
And then at what cost? And I have to say this because, and this is what I'm talking about, like it feels like a lukewarm girl summer, because I'm also like, I don't know if y'all are paying attention, and this is not some conspiracy, theory. They're actively looking to revoke rights from women.
Yeah.
The 96% of Republicans the other day just voted against contraceptives. Like that includes your IUDs, that includes your birth control pills, that includes condoms, basic things to keep women safe, right? Because we're the ones who suffer the most from STDs. We're the ones who suffer from pregnancies that either go abandoned or unwanted or wrong or what have you in what capacity. And even if it does come to full term and it's a healthy pregnancy, God bless, the government's not going to help you out. Your baby daddy probably won't help you out. I'm like, so then at what risk are we doing this? You know what I'm saying? For these 30-second connections where you're not getting off, but he is, and then he's also off the hook. I don't understand it.
I don't.
And so I'm like, when I see movies like Persuasion, I like the literature, but I don't like the bastardization of the movie, because then it's telling young girls, like, there was no legit communication between those characters for that entire movie.
They had one conversation on the beach.
On the beach where they were both like, let's just be friends, knowing damn well they didn't want to be friends. Very short conversations. They never ever came to a point in that movie, not the literature, where they're like, hey, like, here's what went wrong. Like, how could this have happened? Like, why did we break up, never talk again for 7 years, etc.? I'm ruining the story for y'all, but y'all don't read Jane Austen. Let's just be
reading the room. Maybe they will.
I hope y'all do.
Because
that was a terrible
book club.
Please, I would love that. But
I actually do want to read Jane Austen. So
you should. I'll get you the book. Don't even care.
Okay, so like a little thing. I was watching this movie and I was like, I'm 27. I too am like, where's my love? What's going on? I think about the people that I talked to in the last 2 to 6 years, like what went awry. So I liked it, but I also understood as someone who's not a part of the Austen gang, that I am missing a big chunk of these things. But sorry, I digress.
No, that's totally fine. But I think that's the thing, is that we're all missing a big chunk of what relationships actually look like.
Yeah.
Which is like foundation, which is communication, which is time, which is faith. Like there's so much that goes into it, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, we're being pushed this agenda. Oh,
it's a conspiracy.
Literally, I sound so terrible right now. I know it. We're being pushed this agenda, this narrative that this is, women's sexualization is a liberating thing, and it is. But I'm also like, we have to know when we're being exploited as a group, as a marginalized group, because now there are laws and there people are actively putting laws in place that are out here to harm us for taking advantage of our sexual rights, right?
Yeah.
And we have to ask ourselves, are the counterparts we're dealing with, because you might be dealing with another woman, you might be dealing with a non-binary person, whatever it is, the person that you're dealing with, is it worth the risk? Are y'all going for the goal?
Is there a high reward for this high risk?
Right, because it's at the end of the day, and this is coming from a girl I'm a business major at heart. What is your ROI? What is your return on investment?
There's a clip of this girl. I was watching. Her name is Sam. Maybe we can find it. She's talking about how she was on Tinder, and this guy on his bio was like, "I'm not looking for anything serious. I'm just looking for like friends with benefits. But you can never come over to my house. I have to come over to your house. Like, but I want to be able to like do these things sexually with you, hang out. But like, I don't want a relationship." And I'm like, you feel mighty comfortable putting this out to strangers.
Oh.
Because I'm like, there must be somebody out here who's like,
yeah, sounds great.
And I'm like, but what do you get, sweetheart? Like, what are you getting out of that?
Listen.
A warm body? Because that...
Listen. I'm not going to sit here and say, you don't feel homely sometimes. Everyone wants to be jostled here and then. We all want a little
diddle your skittle. I like to do it.
Listen, you could that's a way. Come on, somebody.
Researchers.
Probably. But I really want women to really think about what they're doing. And that's why I'm like, maybe it shouldn't be a hot girl summer. It should be a lukewarm girl summer. Take it slow. And this is not me telling you what to do. Girl, if you want to get jostled for one night and forget about it, fine. But please, for the love of God, have some contraceptive. I'm like, only because I'm like...
And truly want to do that. Don't do that
because you're pressured into it. Because it's the hot girl summer thing to do. Do it because you want to do it.
And if you have to feel bad afterwards, you never did want to do it.
Right. And you know what? I was watching this snippet from Oprah, my mentor. Yes, my mentor.
They know each other.
We know each other very intimately. It's a soul bond. She doesn't know me in the physical.
But telepathically you guys speak.
Right. I think she goes to bed at night wondering when she's going to meet me. But I digress. I saw this clip of her, and she was talking to this woman, and she was like, well, how do you know that you're making the right choice? Like, whether it be about a house, whether it be about a purchase, whether it be about your romantic partner, anything. And she said, you're making a right choice when you're never betraying yourself. And that doesn't mean that you're not ever going to compromise, but you're not going to be compromising your integrity. You're not going to be compromising your morals. You're not going to be compromising your boundaries. You're going to be compromising in order for you to have your ultimate happiness. And the thing is, you really have to ask yourself, whatever compromise you're going to be making, will it lead to your ultimate happiness?
Okay. I like that. It's going to hinder you, because here's the thing, if you compromise, you're going to resent that person.
Right.
And that person's going to resent you for resenting them.
Right.
But then I wonder, okay, so what should we compromise on? Because I think the issue that plagues most women is, and maybe this is why there's so many casual relationships, is women have too much of a high standard.
I don't believe in that. I think that the men that are applying for the position don't have the prerequisites, and that's the problem.
And what is a high standard and what's just a regular standard?
Because
I'm thinking pragmatically, there's high, medium, and low. What's a high standard versus what's a low standard? Because to me, the casual stuff is low. What's a high standard and what's right in the middle?
You know what? I'm going to challenge that whole metric and say that there's no such thing as a high standard. They're your standards. And your standards are worth being met by the person you want to be by your side, presumably forever, right? Or for a long period of time. And I am so sick and tired of hearing that women have high standards and that's why they are where they are, because that's just not true. It's not the truth. Maybe you need to move where your application is being posted.
That's true.
No longer posted on Yelp, girl, you gotta go to LinkedIn. You know what I'm saying? And I say this because you don't go to a job, you don't go to LinkedIn, apply for CEO with no expectation of meeting those demands. You know that the job that you're applying for requires X, Y, and Z, and so guess what? You're either going to get training or you're coming prepared to fully fulfill the demands of X, Y, and Z.
Or if you don't meet the qualifications, you don't get an interview.
You just don't apply, or you don't get an interview. And you know what it is, women? I'm going to challenge y'all to stop giving interviews to people who have made it clear that they have no intention of meeting your expectations. Because I think that people make it very clear, and we need to stop trying to read in between the lines. There are no lines to read in between. I'm like, see the message for what it is. You have too high expectations? Great. You're not qualified for the position of my mate. Okay.
So then I ask a question, because you're my friend.
Yeah.
I like to believe that. Are you my friend, Esther Lola?
Oh my God, yes. Lola, I'm your best friend.
I'm glad this is on camera.
Oh my God.
I'm going to catch you as many times as possible.
One mistake, I tell you.
And I'll never forget it. So being a fly on the wall, is there any expectation that I have or standards that you think have ever heard me say that you're that's unrealistic or that could be too high?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Expose me. Which one is that one?
I'm not gonna. I don't
do
wanna,
it.
Is it
Do
exposure? Here's
Go
what I'll
ahead.
say.
I'll prepare myself mentally to get hurt.
Just
do it. Just do it. Rip the Band-Aid.
Here we go.
What expectation do you
Lola, I did not even realize this about you until this year.
Okay.
You're a very jealous person. You're not someone to share the affections of others. I think that when you are with someone, you want 100% of your attention on you. And that's actually not a bad thing at all. And I say this because
romantically,
right? because we were recently talking about, this was before we even went to DR. Some girl was talking about how her boyfriend of like 2-3 years or whatever was reached out to by his ex, who he was with for a period of time as well, and she had apparently on the way out, they didn't end on good terms, had stolen some of his stuff, and she wanted to return it years later. And this man was like, you know, I'm gonna bring it up to my girlfriend. As a woman, how would you react? And me and Margaret were like, oh, I don't care at all. We'll get your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Would you like me to accompany you? And Lola was like, let me be clear with you.
It's not gonna happen on my watch.
Right. She was like, if you want to go be with that girl, you go be with that girl. But if you want to be with me, you don't need that stuff. And I was like,
no, stuff. Fuck your shit. Like, no, seriously. In my head, unless it's like a family heirloom that cannot be replicated, and your mom died and she gave it to you on her deathbed and something of that sort. But like, if you can buy that shit off of Amazon, please keep that nonsense over there. Don't talk to me about no other woman. Anyways, you were saying, so but that's my thing.
I didn't realize I don't even think that's jealousy. That's possession. Like, you like to know what's yours is yours, and there's no question about it.
Yeah.
And I think all women like to do that, right? But for me, I wouldn't have reacted like that. For me, I'm like, if I'm with you, you have my trust 100%.
It's not that I don't trust you. I just think that there's a saying in Spanish, darte tu lugar, which is to give that person their place. Mm-hmm. And if you're my man and I'm like, you need to give me my place, and my place is that you don't do these kind of shenanigans, and vice versa. Like, I won't do things because I don't want you to ever look crazy, and this is making you look crazy. Because like, why? Because like, I was like, first of all, how did this person get your number?
What if he never changed his number?
You didn't block her, okay? Like, in my head, I'm like, why are you leaving all these doors for people to come? Because like, if you are here, the door is closed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the same way that I would do it. Because like, if someone reached out to me who's my ex or whatever, and I didn't block their number, I'm blocking their number immediately. I'm deleting that shit. Like, I'm not going to
entertain it.
I'm not entertaining it. And I understand that. I think Margaret was saying, like, sometimes men don't really like think about it like that. And I'm like, well, you're really dumb. Like, you think someone is going to like reach out of you the blue after 2 years because they became miraculously a good person after 2 years? You're a whole dummy. You know what you want. Stop lying. Pull up at 10 o'clock. She's like, oh my God, I miss you. Da-da-da. And next thing you know, you're going to call back and be like, so what had happened was, and I'm like, yeah.
No.
Stay where you're at then. Stay where you're at.
And I can understand that. Yeah. I can totally acknowledge that. But at the time when you said it, I was like, that is so crazy to me. Like, I didn't get it at all. But what I've come to realize is, that's the expectation you have of your partner.
Okay.
For me, and it's not because all the doors aren't closed, but I'm like, I'm so confident in what I own. Like, I'm so confident that what is mine is mine.
Yeah.
That sis could walk up butt ass naked.
That's a lie.
No.
People are gonna fight.
Oh, not
fight.
me.
Not you.
Not me. No. I don't believe. I will never. Listen, I'm Haitian, y'all. The pride it's set high. I will never lower myself. I will never let somebody take me out of my character on behalf of someone who claims that they love me. Absolutely not. You will never put me in that position. Gotcha. So that being the case, I don't mind you going to get your stuff.
Well, you know what? The little caveat is that you guys were like, oh, wouldn't you go with him? And I'm like, even worse. I said, it just keeps getting worse, this scenario. You're going to tell me this and you won't ask me to show up?
Oh, I'll show up. Why not? What if he wants you to go as a buffer? You see what I'm saying? So that she doesn't feel the need to be like, I missed you. Because what if it is a family heirloom? What if it's something that was important to him? You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I'm going to be sincere with you. I see your point. Like, what, in 2-3 years, if you haven't thought about it, who cares?
Yeah.
But on the off chance that it is something that matters to him, I'll go there as your buffer. So she's not going to sit here. She's not going to sit here next to me and be like, I love you. I'm be like, now, no, come on, know your place. Don't embarrass yourself. Not in front of a whole me. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But I'm like, for me, I wouldn't have reacted like that.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't realize how possessive Lola was. Like she was like, if this man pays attention to anybody else, she's not gonna enjoy it. And then I realized that's the love, like that's an emotional need you need fed.
Because I'm not doing it to nobody else.
Right, but you know what? That's a need you need met. Yeah. And that does not make it unrealistic. For me, it's not necessary. But that doesn't make it unrealistic for you. And that's where I'm at. I'm like, please stop letting people make you feel like your list is unrealistic. Now, if you're like, he needs to be a billionaire, he needs to fly me to the moon, because there are some of them posts online that's like, if he wanted to, he would blink and be there for you. I'm like, okay. Now, and I'm saying this because like you've seen like the memes or like the threads online.
Yeah.
Where women are like, oh, if a man wanted to do this, he would do that. And I'm like, okay, but put it in the sphere of reality.
Yeah.
I'm like, of course, if a man
in context,
right? They'll be like, he was in California and I was sick in New York. How dare he not check in on me? I'm like, yes, okay.
There's a time difference.
There's a time difference. There's a money crisis right now in the economy.
Yeah.
I'm like, be considerate. I'm not saying that, you know, have your person, like, they should make you feel special. That's awesome. But let's, you know, be realistic. As long as you are working within the parameters of your reality.
Yeah.
And because our realities do look different. So, I mean, if he has the money to take a jet, you know what I'm saying? Okay, fine. He should have checked in on you. You know what I'm saying?
No excuses there.
But there's no such thing as you having unrealistic expectations in regards to the character you want your mate to be. Because that person has to feed you. You know what I'm saying? Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, y'all be working together. So I'm tired of the narrative that women have unrealistic expectations. You're putting your applications in the wrong spot. Move them.
Gotcha. Well, so you're thinking one of the standards I have is like this, I guess, possessiveness, which I'm like, we gotta find a different word because
I think a different word is
because like because I'm not gonna like start like where were you? Where are you going? Huh? Like I'm just saying there's certain things I'm just like don't do that. Like
yeah, no, fair.
Have you know how men don't like women laughing at other people's jokes too hard?
It can't be me because I'm a hyena. I'm finna bust out laughing. I be cracking ribs. I be going mute laughing so hard. If someone is funny, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's an issue that my mate could not have. That or he would have to really trust in me to know, like, she laughs at everything.
Gotcha.
I laugh at everything. You can't be getting mad at that. I'm not even kidding you. I actually had a situationship. We've all been there. Come on now, don't judge.
Yeah.
But I've learned. That's the difference. But I was in a situationship with this guy who actually hated that I socialized so much, particularly with men, which is so crazy because I don't socialize with any particular gender more than the other. I'm just a social person.
Yes.
He hated it. And I was like, listen, it's not going to work because I'm an extrovert at heart. It's not going to work out.
I'm a people person.
I am. I was like, I don't care who
happen to be people.
Right. Well, that's what they call them anyway.
That's what they say, allegedly.
Come on, allegedly.
Gotcha. No, but I get what you're saying. But then I wonder, is there like a boundary or a standard that you wish that I did have? Because like, that's something you're like, okay, I can see that being a little bit of a good issue. But is there something you're like, Lola, this should be a standard of yours?
Let's see.
Or a boundary. Like,
I would love, nothing would make me happier for my friend Lola, y'all.
Okay.
If you dated someone who was very empathetic to you, like, and not like a mind reader kind of a thing, but someone, because I think that you've come a very long way with your voice, finding your voice, and you know, letting people know when you're uncomfortable. But I would love if you had someone by your side who didn't just draw the line in the sand, but built a wall there and was like, she said no, and her no's are her no's, and her yeses are her yeses, even when it comes to intimate other relationships, whether that be familial, whether that be professional. Like, they would be like your encourager, your supporter. And that's what I would love for you, is to make this person your biggest cheerleader. Like, I would love for that to be your standard.
Okay, so someone who has to be like rooting for me.
100%.
With pom-poms. And I would do it for them too, because I'm a big cheerleader. You're a huge cheerleader. And so I wish someone else would be in your corner. And like, so that this way you wouldn't doubt, like, if you've said something, which is like, because I feel like sometimes like Lola will put a boundary in place and be like, I don't want to do that. And then she'll be like, was that a bad thing for me to do? Which women do a lot of the time. We second guess our boundaries. And I would love, if not only you, but like many women had advocates who are like, no, your boundary is solid. It's not insane. And I'm standing 10 toes down in it with you. Yeah, someone would be like, she said what she said.
Period.
Ella dijo lo que ella dijo. Like, very much.
Yeah, I would love that for you.
Gotcha. I'm trying to think. I would say this from a friend. I think sometimes you're very slow. You dip your toe with men. So there was this one guy you were talking to, be like, he keeps calling you. I'm like, because he likes you. I'm like, that shows interest. So I hope that one day you'll get to the point where, I also think you know when you like somebody, when you actually like. So this is what happened. This man liked Esther, and Esther did not like this man.
I liked him
just
fine.
Mentiras. She did not like.
I liked him just fine.
Okay, she did not like him romantically, but she was convinced. She's like, no, I just gotta keep. I'm like, no. I said, if there's one thing about women, when you enjoy the company of somebody, there is nothing that's going to, you don't have to tug or pull. You might want to keep, coyness. But the idea that he called and you were like, again. I was like, okay, Esther, now. Esther, girl. No.
She's like, cut this man loose.
I said, just stop.
Let him out of his misery. Come on. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. But you know what? I'll agree with you, actually. I'm not even going to refute that point. I'll agree.
So I hope that one day, I think when you find something you really like, it's not going to be like you very much, I feel like you'll pick up the phone like, I'm very busy and I have a schedule. I'll talk to you later. But you'll give them that person, that
I love you, boo.
Exactly. So I guess the standard, you have is, you have your priorities straight and you're not going to let someone shift it. But I hope that one day, you soften up and whoever he is can sweep you off your feet and you're like, you know what, it's okay. Call me today at 2
and I'm like, put me down, I'm big. You know I'm big.
So,
I'm kidding.
Guess what? Megan was getting thrown up and down.
Oh my God, my body. I was like, oh my God. Me gusta. I like it. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Me next.
Girl, listen, they be dropping you though. That's the problem.
He didn't look like he was gonna drop it.
He wasn't gonna drop me.
He said up and down. They shot your skin down.
Oh my God, I love it. No, I honestly love that for her, and I hope that she's found honestly a safe place. And that's honestly like, I want women in general to have a safe space.
Yeah. And
I think that your partner should be your safe space. Outside of your friends, outside of your family, God willing, if you have that circle, I want women to find their safe spaces. And that's why I'm like, listen, ladies, if it has to be a lukewarm summer for you to be safe, have your lukewarm summer. Now, if y'all know how to have a hot girl summer and be safe, I support it. Come on now. I'm going to just ask to throw out the condoms.
In the fall, there's Indian summer, so there's a little, just try it.
Come on, somebody. Come on.
So if you had to pick 3 set in stone physical things about your partner, certain standards you're like, I'm not budging on this, and 3 personality or characteristic traits where you're like, this is not compromise. Everything else is a little bit, there's some wiggle room. But these 3, this is it.
Okay, and you know what? I think that this is actually an important question, and I say this because have y'all heard about, there's a trend right now, it's politically correct dating. Don't do it. Women, I've fallen victim to this. Women are
you played yourself.
I did. Yo, Lola and Margaret, let me tell y'all, I feel like I seem like the spicy one up here. Lola in the text, just a savage, y'all. A savage. But politically correct dating, if you're unaware of the phenom, is that women are going out with people that they're not conventionally attracted to, because they want to be nice. They don't want to.
Or they seem good on paper,
right? And they don't want to adhere to a type, right? But the thing is, attraction is the name of the game. You have to be attracted to this person. And I recently, I was like, okay, I love this person's personality. I saw a picture of them. I was like, phew, not my type. Not my traditional, conventionally attractive type. And I was like, no, I'm never going to do that again. It was a waste of my time. It was a waste of his time. And I felt bad. So 3 characteristics physically that I'm going to need this person to have is height. Height really matters to me. I wish I could say it didn't, but it does, fellas.
She's a tall girl.
I'm I feel a medium height. I think that's a problem.
You're 5'6"
and some change.
Well, I'm 5'3", more like 5'2". So she's a tall girl to me.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Tall is subjective, right?
Yeah.
So if Lola dates a 5'6" guy, makes
5'7",
sense. You know what I'm saying?
Please.
Right.
That's what I've dated someone who's 5'5", and there's not a problem. Just little 5'7" gives me a little I gotta reach up there. That's so.
Everybody likes a little tiptoe action.
But I've dated men who are 6 feet tall, and I will say this: it is uncomfortable to be kissing standing up.
I like me some
but laying down is what we do.
Ah!
I don't do that often. Okay. It stays very platonic, I swear. It's very, very PG-13.
Yes, we all lay down with 6-foot men very platonically.
No. It was very PG-13, very CW, not
all above the clothing. I'm
exactly. Sure. Nothing that the Lord would not,
approve of.
He might give me a little cheeky girl figure, but not I'm gonna rain fire and brimstone.
Well, good. I think a second one for me, I want to say is the face card. I like a nice shaped face.
I will say this: I've seen the men that she says that have nice faces, and I will realize that I'm a little particular when it comes to the face. You're very forgiving in the face. I will say this.
But you want to know why? Because most importantly, I really like the body. I feel like it doesn't have. I like a little rim.
So
height, face, and body. Okay. And it doesn't have to be super toned. It doesn't have to be super muscular. But I do make sure you can hold the goods. I'm a little thick. You know what I'm saying?
In all the right places.
So how about you?
Lo dientes. I love me some teeth.
Oh my God.
Let me see you smile, daddy. No, seriously, let me see some teeth. Because, like, I don't even mind gaps. I like men with gap teeth. I think it's about how clean your teeth and just like a nice smile. So I guess I should scratch teeth out and just a nice smile.
It says a lot about you.
I love a good
like, do you take care of yourself? People can see the plaque. Yes, we can see the plaque.
It's good dental hygiene, but like when you can have clean teeth and not have the greatest smile, but something about someone when they smile, it just like I get disoriented. I'm like, what's going on?
Oh God,
I'm in a tizzy. He got me, Jesus. Unhand me, you fiend.
Yeah.
So I would say great teeth, great smile, and good dental hygiene. That's like a physical characteristic. Great hair, and I'm not talking about hair texture.
Really?
I'm talking about thickness and fullness, and that includes your hairline, your beards, and your eyebrows.
Ooh.
I have a lot of hair, and I would like that to be carried on to my children.
Okay.
I just like certain things about like fake hair. Like I want just something about that makes me just like I want to put my hand all up in it. It just gives me like I'm healthy.
Ooh.
You know,
gives you a mane like a
and just like so I'm just like okay. And like I said, I'm giving you wiggle room, some eyebrows, some beard. So like you could be bald and have a great beard. Because I've dated a guy who was bald and he was very good looking.
The bald ones be getting it nowadays.
They be getting it. I mean, listen. And then I would say nice arms. Okay. I remember this one guy. He had like a little vein arm right here, and I was like, I said, Lord, stop it. The Jezebel spirit's getting me.
Oh,
God. I said, it's hopped into my body.
Listen.
Get hop right out.
That's not what she said, y'all. She was in the cortex and something else entirely different.
I said, he almost got me, man. Or I almost got him. Who knows?
Listen, they don't even know sometimes. I be like, you know how they sometimes make men feel like they're the ones, they only want nothing but something. But you ever see a man and you like, I could just tell you in the street, I could take you right here, right now. You don't even know. But I'm like, of course, with your consent, though. Of course, always with the consent.
Have you ever seen Bella Hadid? She's in like a sneaker shop, and this is the most cringiest shit I've ever seen, or top 5 cringiest shit. And she's like, if like homeboy wears this kind of sneaker, he's gonna like get it. And that lives infamous like in my head. And like whenever it's a fine man, I'm like, he can like get it. Like
I'm not. We don't even gotta talk. I'm just gonna look at you like you know what's about to.
I don't do that. I'm glad that the way that I feel in my inside, like
it's not what's portrayed.
I'm giving very much like, don't talk to me.
Yeah, you do that. You do
like,
that.
Don't talk to me. But really, I'm like, please.
I feel like that is the very like that's the opposite of what I do.
Yeah.
Which is
you're very flirtatious. She's very much like, come, I'm luring you like a siren, and you're like a pirate in the sea, and I'm just bringing you in.
No, honestly, it's actually funny. It's actually funny that you do that. We have very different approaches.
I just get nervous and uncomfortable, and I start sweating, and then I start thinking about what I'm gonna say, and I'm like, that's not funny.
I just pull up to bat, man. All you gotta do is swing. If you get knocked out, you get knocked out, but at least you swung the bat, huh?
I'm very much like, let's not get knocked out. Just live and let live. But
how do you live without going to the plate?
I guess I'll try it.
Do it. Challenge yourselves. Only for those who are meeting the prerequisites of your application.
Exactly,
ladies. Stay with the theme.
Okay, and then so that's physical. What about like what's a characteristic trait that you're like, okay, this needs to be in my husband or my
top one for me is faith. I'm a huge faith person.
In Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior.
Absolutely. Anybody else you believe in? God bless. God be with you. But I'm looking.
Alhamdulillah, but
Come on. To each their own. You understand? But for me, faith is huge. Faith is really, really huge. It's a big proponent in my life, and I know that it's something that I want not only in my partner but in my children. You know what I'm saying? After that, loyalty, 100%. And then I think after that, it's gonna be compassion.
Okay.
Compassion, really, really big, because I think there are a lot of people who have faith, and there are even a lot of people I feel like who are loyal but lack compassion. You don't know how to empathize with people who have never been in the same situation as you.
They're just loyal because it's like the principle of the thing rather than
right. Exactly. And I also feel like as someone like, again, I'm an extrovert. I think that I love talking and doing what I do because I get to know people and see beautiful sides of humanity because those things exist, A lot of people move on the principle of it's like, if I haven't experienced it, then it's not worth considering. And I don't like that. I need someone who's mentally and holistically a humanitarian, someone who loves people and like because they love themselves. But how about you?
So the first one is a man of God. I said a man of God with conviction, because I feel like in there that lies a whole loyalty. Like if you know and you think about what's right and wrong, and you're not trying to be all like in the gray space, like, oh, it's okay, this is a loophole. You're very much okay. It is messed up to lie. But in this situation, like you're really trying to live by a code of ethics and not trying to like weasel your way out of it, right? Because then I feel like those are people who are loyal and honest. So, and then if you live by God and you live by those rules, it's very black and white in most places. Sometimes a little gray, but mostly it's very much you don't do this and you do this. I also put somebody who's agreeable and friendly, who has a friendly disposition. I want somebody who, like, I don't think my friends have to love my boyfriend or my husband, like, but I would love to be like, hey, I'm going to go hang out with Esther. Okay, cool. We're hanging out together. Can I invite Chris? Chris is my husband's name. My future husband. We don't know what his real name is. I just feel like his name's Chris.
Why should his middle name be Chris?
I don't know what his name is going to be. But the point being, right now, the placeholder name is Chris. And I'm like, hey, Esther, me and Chris are going somewhere. Oh, can I come along? Because, like, I know he's a friendly person, and I feel like I love your personality. I actually love your brother's personality. Okay, listen. Alex has a great personality. I feel like that body of, like, that energy of, like, oh, I can talk to people, make them comfortable. I like that. I want that energy. He's great. I need that in my husband's body.
Okay.
I'm not saying he has to be best friends with everybody, but he knows to be able to work a room and make people, comfortable.
Like, yeah, around your presence. Absolutely.
And so, like, it makes me, because I don't want to ever separate. I don't want someone to be like, oh, I can't put them in the room with so-and-so, or they can't hang out with my cousins because it's going to turn around. Yeah. There'll be dissension. Like, that's not what I want. And I put third is a good communicator, because I'm not the best at it, but I'm working on it. But I need someone to be like, hey, that's not okay. Let's nip it in the bud. What's up?
Yes, and let's talk about why it happened.
Exactly.
What we can do to prevent it. I love that communication piece.
I'm getting better at being direct and definitely trying to, like, saying, like, hey, this is exactly how I feel, and not, like, tiptoe around it. And, like, I catch myself when I'm not doing it. I was actually kind of mad at Margaret the other day, and I didn't talk to her for, like, a day or two, and I was like, hey, so I actually was upset with you.
Love that.
And then, we resolved it. So I'm making a point to be certain things of this. Everything that I listed here are things that I want to be myself, so I want to see that in my partner.
Oh, that's lovely. I like that, because a lot of times we talk about what we want to see in our partners, not what we have to do within ourselves to attract that person or be the person that's worthy of the person we're looking for. So I like that a lot.
Yeah.
But I think that this was a good conversation to kind of find out, how the summer's going for them hot girls, for the lukewarm girls, for the toaster oven girls, heck, maybe even the microwave girls. That's totally okay.
Beep, boop, boop, boop.
Come on. Sometimes it's just on a dial. Sometimes you go out to Atlantic City for a weekend and that's when stuff gets spicy, and the rest of the summer, you're on cool. And that's okay.
Use that AC, ladies.
Come on.
Cool off.
But no, seriously, guys, let us know how your summer is going, how you'd categorize it, and share your experiences. What are y'all looking for? What are y'all doing to protect yourselves from the tyranny that is the Republicans right now? Yeah, let us know.
Let us know in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
All right, y'all. See you next time. Bye.